Ciao ragazzi, welcome along to Inter Worldwide. It is a fantastic day to be connecting with three gentlemen. It's a fantastic week to have a midweek fixture with a trophy on the line, and it is my pleasure to be joined by two familiar faces on the channel and one returning guest from enemy lines. I'll introduce him first. Thank you very much. As respectable as always, Daniel Lucci. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me again, sir. It's a pleasure as always.
Thank you, man. Thank you to my two brothers from other mothers way across in America. First, starting off with Pedro Santiago de la Paz. How you going, Christian?
Excellent.
Oh, man. And as always, cheerful as always. Look at him. It's Mario Galliano. How you doing? Yes, he's doing great. We've got a big fixture on Thursday morning, 7 a.m. my time, which would be what time for you, Christian, in your region?
2:45.
2:45 in the afternoon. What about you, Lucci, in Canada?
Believe it's the same time for me as well.
All right, cool. So we've got this midweek fixture. Supercoppa is on the line. Fixture is being played in Milan, giving us not a significant, but definitely more of an advantage. Although I think both sides are happy to not play the game in Saudi Arabia. But at the end of the day, one of us is lining up with more artillery on the pitch and a little bit more depth in this particular situation. And I'm going to start with our guest, Daniel Lucci, who is representing the fantastic All Juve cast headed by Alberto. If you are going to get any news from them guys, as I say, make sure you check it out from them guys. They are good guys. Lucci, it's running thin. The roster's running a little thin at the moment with men that you can put out on the pitch. Fantastic win against Roma, man. Most entertaining game of the season so far, especially from a neutral point of view. But a few scars coming out of that game, and the Supercoppa squad's looking a little thin. You want to run us through your team news?
Yeah, we were thin before that, but now we took a couple suspensions and a huge case of injury coming out of that one. As you said, it was a great game to watch. After the 70th minute, it was great to watch. But Chiesa's done, as I'm sure everyone knows. Quadrado is going to be missing due to yellow card accumulation. De Ligt picked up a red card. Danilo's supposed to be back, but only our back line consists of Rugani and Chiellini. Dybala's available, Morata and Kulusevski. Really, that's the midfield stays the same, but we're running thin, definitely in the back end.
Yeah, absolutely, man. In terms of the personnel that you plan to put on the pitch and in terms of how Allegri is going to approach this game, how do you see Juventus setting up? And do you think it's going to be more of a reactionary one from Allegri?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to go with some new faces just to get some fresh guys in there from, it was a tough win on the weekend. Another game coming up on Saturday for us against Udinese. So I think it's probably going to be Di Chilio on the right, Rugani, Chiellini, and probably Alexandro or Pellegrini if he's able to go for a full 90 with Locatelli, probably Artur, and maybe Rabiot in the middle. And Kulusevski, Morata, and Dybala would be my guess for the front three, depending on how he wants to line up. Could look like a 4-4-2, could also look like a 4-2-3-1. I guess, it kind of depends how Allegri wants to play Inter. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll come back to you in a second, but I'll go around to the other boys. First of all, Christian, a very important question for you. We've got a little bit of a luxury at the moment where in terms of our forwards, all four of them would be viable to start. But at the moment, in terms of form, I don't think you're really going to take out either of the two that started on the weekend, especially Alexis Sanchez, who's just absolutely playing out of his skin at the moment. My question for you, Christian, with Dzeko, Correa, Sanchez, and Lautaro all fit, who would you start against Juventus in the Supercoppa, knowing that we've got Atalanta 3 days later in Bergamo?
I'd probably go with Dzeko and Lautaro.
Yeah, I expected you to be the last one to want to drop Sanchez for the Supercoppa. Is there any reason why?
I'd rather save Alexis for the weekend against Atalanta.
Okay, so you're sort of prioritizing the Atalanta fixture.
Not really that, because Dzeko's still a stud.
Yeah, fair enough. This do you think this game could potentially go into extra time?
Nah, dude. Honestly, I think it'll be done. All due respect, Daniel. You guys should be worrying about the league at this point.
I agree.
Mario, I'm going to go over to you next, man. Initial thoughts coming into this game lineup-wise, considering the only man that we don't really have available is Kolarov.
I think we go into this strong, as we usually have. I really don't have any issues with us. It's Juve that have all the problems right now. Everything's going against them. They're losing players left and right, and we just keep rolling.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, on the day, it's all going to come to who wants it most. So, in a one-game situation with a trophy on the line, it's definitely not fair to rule the rivals out. Lucci, in terms of coming into this game, from your opinion on our side, who worries you the most? How do you think Inter's going to hurt you in terms of, yes, the weaknesses in your personal lineup, but where do you think we're going to hurt you?
Yeah, it's going to be definitely off the wings, whether it's Dumfries or Perisic. Darmian's even had a good season, so I think that's where our most concern is. We're not the fastest team, obviously, especially with Alexandro back there. He moves like an iceberg. But yeah, that's exactly where we need to be careful. Again, Rugani, he's stepped up when he's had to, played a couple games this season, but again, he's not up to, Bonucci or De Ligt quality. So that's going to be another area for concern. But my main concern is, of course, you want to win a trophy. You want to win, the first one available for the season. But my main concern is making sure no one comes out injured out of this one, because we got a lot of games coming up, especially Champions League as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And with the rotation coming up as well, you mentioned you have Udinese on the weekend. Do you think Allegri is going to be prioritizing this match over that one? We saw your assistant coach come in and absolutely, whack 4 goals against Roma. But Allegri's coming back, man, to play some conservative football. How do you honestly see the game going, man, moving into your prediction?
Yeah, I see this one being a heavy possession-wise for Inter. You'll probably get a few opportunities. If you score at many, I guess that'll depend on how well the defense, is up to standard. But I think most, as we've seen Juve, that we surrender a lot of possession. We kind of try to play off the counter. It's not fun to watch at times, but Allegri is the man, and I would expect him to be the man for the next year or two. And we kind of just got to, transition and hopefully get out of this season not too badly hurt.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We are in almost in the middle of the January at the moment. Any particular movement in the market for Juventus while I've got you for the last few minutes?
Well, there was some rumors coming out today that Juve is looking at Bruno Guimaraes, I believe they can't pronounce his last name, but from Olympic Lyon, a defensive midfielder, trying to throw some cover in there. But again, if Allegri's playing a 4-4-2, he won't really, we don't really need him at this stage. And there's also talk of the Zenit striker. The name is escaping me right now, but he's a free agent at the end of the year, so they might be looking at him for some depth. Now with Chiesa out, you kind of got to, shuffle some areas around and see what you can do. Again, the money is going to be the issue.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I wanted to ask more of a personal question for me because I watch him closely. What's your opinion on the minutes that Moise Kean has gotten for you guys so far?
That's a frustrating one. I expected a little more from him coming over this summer, and he's very talented. He can put the ball in the back of the net, but too many times he looks like he's a little lost. Against Roma, he had nothing going. It was very tough to watch. I expect more. Maybe it's the Allegri style that's not really suiting him so well. Maybe he just needs to get a goal or two to get him some boost his morale, get him into it. But I hope he can find some consistency and get going here, because we need as much help as we can get going forward.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it, bro.
Thank
Do
you
you want to finishing off with a nice prediction, man, score-wise? You think it's going into extra time, or you think it's closed in 90?
No, I think it's closed in 90. I'm going to say 2-1 Inter, to be honest. Yep.
No worries. Thank you for your time, as always, my brother, and we'll speak soon.
Thanks, boys.
Cheers, bro. All right, Christian, over to you, man. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of things. We've got a full squad stacked, ready to possibly bring in the first trophy for Inzaghi. It's one of his trophies as well, man. He's got one of these before, and, he knows how to win it in a one-off game. I hope he's got the boys fired up, bro. What are your overall thoughts going into this one, Christian? Are you hyped at the opportunity of getting some silverware, or does the Supercoppa literally not mean anything to you, considering you were just about to touch on the fact that, we're in momentum for the second star at the moment? We can't slow that roll.
It's like I told you at the beginning of the year, our depth is too ridiculous right now. Like, you can literally pull off Dzeko, Correa, Lautaro, and Alexis off the bench. Either one of those guys, like, all due respect to your boy, Daniel, but, bro, I think they're going to get blown out 3-0, 3-1. I don't think Juve is worried about the Supercoppa. I personally would be glad to get it. It's been a while, but I don't think they're going for it. I think they're more worried about the league.
Yeah, and missing out on their top 4 spot. So It'll be tough, man. It'll be really tough. Mario, over to you, man. Supercoppa, chance at a trophy. Obviously, when you rank them, the least important one, it's the Community Shield of Serie A. But hey, man, in terms of mental progression and momentum, we could really use this one.
Trophy's a trophy at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter. Napoli fans will crown this as like a World Cup win if we were to win the Supercoppa. So it's important. So as much as other people or anybody says it's not important, it's not important. At the end of the day, it's a trophy, and it goes into the cabinet, and it's success. So when you win that and a Serie A or Champions League or Coppa Italia, it's closer to a double than anything. So it counts, and we're gonna win it.
Yeah, cool. Christian, you got anything to add before I ask you another question?
Nah, dude, like Mario said, trophy's a trophy. I think it's good for morale. It's also good to beat Juve in a dominating way, just to kind of let the league know that we dominate this league now.
Yeah,
It's just how Juve used to do it the last few years. Remember, where they were just completely running over teams, and that's how we're doing it now. You see the quality between us and the competition.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions based on our lineups that we could be coming in here, because I'm looking at now, we're spoiled for choice. Darmian's fit again. So is it Darmian or Dumfries for Juventus? And which is the other one for Atalanta, and why, Christian?
I do Dumfries in both games. I'm just being honest. He's finally hitting form. He's playing well. You're not going to take him out.
Yeah. What about you, Mario?
I think Darmian gets one of them. He's fit again, so I think he might make probably the Supercoppa, if anything.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd like to see Correa get some real minutes in this game. I'd like to see him, obviously not start, but I think we can bring him on a little earlier than we did on the weekend. However, I think just keeping tabs on the physicality and the fitness of these players is very important in this game. With the news that there's no Cuadrado or De Ligt, yeah, they are missing a few players, but they've still got plenty of players that can come onto that pitch and still do a job. I just don't think those players are up for it compared to our players at the moment. We've just come off a really gutsy win against Lazio, where we actually played, in my personal eyes, and I know a lot of fans' eyes, under par. And that under par performance still resulted in us controlling the game and dominating. I know Christian's looking like he disagrees with me a bit, but I thought when we skipped the Bologna game, we were going to look rusty. And we did look a little rusty against Lazio, but still superior. Still room for improvement, Christian.
Nah, dude, we completely dominate them. No matter how you play it, we did well, especially without Hakan. Gagliardini kept SMS in his pocket. He was non-existent. Yeah, I just think it was a very dominant performance, and it worked well for us.
Yeah, when we come up against a side like Juve, obviously it's the whole one-off day, form goes out the window. But looking at their form and the way that they've played lately and the way that they've conceded goals, there is no reason, Mario, why the players on this team who have enjoyed a fruitful run of form can't dominate this big fixture, so to speak. We've played some tougher teams than this Juve throughout the season, Mario. I'm looking forward to seeing Hakan back in the midfield. You think our midfield can really overrun theirs in this game?
It's not even a question. We've overrun every team we've played. So I don't think that this Juve team, which is the worst Juve team I've ever seen in my life, is going to change that.
Yeah, fair enough. What's the go with our defenders? Obviously, we'll have De Vrij, Bastoni, and Skriniar coming in. Obviously, if they stay injury-free, they'll have to back up against Atalanta. Mario, I'll stay on you. Are you a little worried about the congestion after this game, considering we've got a fair few tough games coming up? But it's important for people to know that while you look at the games back-to-back, there's still a couple of rest periods in there that Inzaghi can sort of reset the board, reset the squad, and whatnot.
I think they've had a long enough rest since the last couple of games that we've had, where it's not going to be as bad. So the congestion is limited or mitigated or whatever you want to say. So I think we have enough rotation that whoever you plug in is going to do a good job. And if they do seem tired, the replacement's going to go in and do just as good of a job, if not better, as we've seen how many times this year. Like, I hate to sound conceited about this, but it's the truth. We have a well-oiled machine where even Dumfries, who I've been a hater of this whole time, is playing at top level and proving that he can step in for Darmian when he's injured. Gagliardini can come in when we need him to put in a few minutes and be the Gagliardini we signed from Atalanta. So I'm not too worried. Offense, we could close your eyes, pick out of a hat whoever we want to play, and they're going to score goals.
Yeah. Christian, who do you think is most likely to get on the score sheet in this game and provide the goods in the attack assist-wise? I mean, we saw on the weekend we can score from anywhere in any way, shape, or form. If Bastoni wants to hook one with his left foot from outside the box, it'll happen. If he wants to provide the assist for Skriniar, it'll happen. We're firing on all fronts, Christian. Where do you see us hurting them on the score sheet?
I'm going to say Lautaro.
Yeah,
him and Dzeko or Hakan.
Yeah. You could really tell how rested our group of boys were against Lazio, man. Like, it was like they were playing with an extra 50% fitness. It was really, really good to see. And I think that they'll have the legs to go through. And that's what I was about to say is I hope that you're right, Christian, in the sense that this is wrapped up in 90 minutes, because I don't want this to go any longer than the 90. I really, really don't. Anybody want to make some other comments before I go through to the actual comments and we work off them?
Dude, I just think that Juve is in a different position than they've been lately. You know what I mean? Any other year, then they're going to go for the Supercoppa. But this year, I think they're kind of more worried about qualifying for Champions League. So I think that's where their priority is going to be.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Shout out to Emiliano. Thanks for coming through. Musti, it's good to see you as well. Thank you for coming through, Mo and Zed. Also good to see you, Zil Sharma, coming in. Wissam, good to see you here as well. Musti says, have we seen a Correa Sanchez start yet? I don't think we have, but with all things considered, Correa did spend a fair bit of time on the sidelines. And, you know, Alexis, as good as he is usually the second striker on the list, on the starting list all the time, no matter what. What I really loved about Alexis against Lazio, in order to accommodate for missing Hakan in the midfield, there is no better player than to have playing as a second striker who can drop back and help pick up the ball. Sanchez was absolutely everywhere against Lazio. I looked at his heat map afterwards. It was incredible how much this guy was balling out. Christian, I think Alexis could be a key in this Supercoppa as well. I know you said that you want him for Atalanta, but no matter what happens, I expect him to at least get some minutes. I'm just re-hyped over the guy, man. Every time he touches the ball, like against Lazio, there was one passage of play. I think he actually fell to the floor twice with the ball at his feet in between three defenders outside of the halfway, and still had enough time to get up, look up, and make a decision to pass it out to the left-hand side, bro.
Yeah, no, dude, he was filthy that game. It was crazy. He literally got the ball while he was on the floor, still managed to dribble and get the ball moving to somebody. You got to give the man his credit.
Yeah, 100%. Mario, any of our players that need to be rotated in the next few games just to help them get some healthy minutes? Because I've had a look at our statistics list at the moment. There's a few players that haven't taken the pitch in a while. I'm talking about D'Ambrosio. I'm talking about Ranocchia as well. Any of these players that you think need a couple more minutes or rotating?
They might try to throw in D'Ambrosio into the Supercoppa. I would imagine. I can see them play him kind of just as like a Skriniar replacement, just as for the game. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw one of them just take a seat for a game. Honestly,
yeah.
Ranocchia, I don't think he's going to start unless someone catches COVID and can't play, and we're down like a couple people. But
yeah, fair call. Back to the comments. Mario Delgado coming in saying, hello, guys. In theory, Inter should be able to win this Supercoppa. Juventus won't have some key players yet. We definitely touched on that, man. So hopefully we're on top. Can any of you boys answer this question? Why is only Italy the Supercoppa played mid-season? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it scheduled for the start of the season, but it was just backtracked too much, or is it always like this?
It's never
I
like
think
this.
it's always been like this, hasn't it?
I don't think
Nah,
so.
I've
No,
never
not
seen the
a lot.
Supercoppa played mid-season.
Summer usually.
I think
It must just be because we're playing catch-up, man. Actually, I've got a question for you, Christian, to confirm something that I've been too lazy to cross-reference. There's like a 9-day gap in between us playing Venezia and playing Milan. This is because of South American qualifiers. Am I not mistaken?
I have to Google that.
While you're doing that, I'll remember the dates in my head. I think we're thinking like February 8 to February 16 or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong once you look it up. But if there is a gap in time between Venice and Milan, that's the time to rotate. That's the time to get a couple of players in there, maybe for Venice or for the Coppa Italia game against Empoli just before that. Yeah, am I right? There's a gap?
January 27th and February 1st.
February 1st, we play Venezia?
No. I'm saying World Cup qualifying. Argentina plays Colombia February 1st, and then Chile, Argentina, January 27th.
Yeah, so in between Venezia and Milan, we'll have a couple of players go out on international duty. I think Vidal is actually suspended for 3 games, so he's not going to go and play for Chile, which means just more sharpness and fitness for us. But the rest of our Latino Heat players will make the move across. All right, let's talk thorough predictions for Juventus and then talk a little bit about Atalanta. Christian, you sort of alluded to it before, but who do you think's getting on the score sheet, and more accurately, what time? Like, how do you think the game's going to go exactly? And then I'll give you mine.
Well, as Pedro Santiago de la Paz would tell people, I'm going to say 3-1. I think it's going to be Toro, Hakan, Dzeko. Not in that order. First goal coming about 21st minute. Second goal coming around the 47th. Third goal coming around the 75th.
Nice one, man. Mario, what about you?
2-0.
2-0. Early goals or what?
Hakan's going to score, and then Dzeko's going to score.
Yeah, I'd like to see Hakan grab a goal just to keep the rival fans shutting up in the background. Man, they are really hurting seeing him play so well this season. I'm going to go 3-1, 2-1 tight up until like the last 5 minutes, but Juventus sort of throwing week after week phase of attack at us, and we're just waiting patiently to hit that 1 goal on the break. I hope it doesn't come to that. There's a part of me that says this team should overrun them 2-3-0 and not even let us concede a goal. But as we've seen, we're still susceptible to some sort of mistakes. Even Skriniar, in my opinion, the best centre-back in the league, was at fault partially for the goal against Lazio that Immobile scored, but we were all over them both at that point and at the rest of the game anyway. So big win predictions all round from the boys in here. I'll go over to some of the comments before we move on to the next fixture. The Dumfries. Yeah, Musti, someone's asking, what's your beef with Dumfries, Mario? We've got Anthony Basic.
All right, so coming in, I thought he was technically deficient, and he was a defensive liability. When we did play him, he looked out of sorts. This was early on. This was not recently. This is because the past like 3-4 weeks, he's been actually awesome. And I have nothing bad to say about him. But going into it, he had no idea how to play in our system, and he was constantly getting beat left and right. Players would look at him and then look away to not give him the ball because they figured he was just going to dribble out of bounds or something. And he wasn't that player that we thought we were going to get right off the bat, where he was making those back post runs, winning the headers to score goals or create chances. He wasn't doing any of that. He looked really, really sloppy. And like when you looked at him at PSV, when he would win the ball defensively, rather than try to play out of the back and keep the ball, he would just kick it out, long ball, throw in, whatever. He was just a no-nonsense kind of defender. And it was just it was a red flag for me when I saw his highlight video, because I didn't really watch him much at PSV, honestly. I saw when he would win the ball and what he does after. And he sort of showed that at the beginning, but it looks like Inzaghi's worked with him a lot, and he's starting to understand how he can be a benefit to this team and use that attacking ability and his physical presence to make his way into the starting lineup.
Yeah, fair enough, man. As long as he's coming good, as long as his positioning is well and he's adapting well tactically to what is perceived to be one of, if not the hardest top league or league in Europe to adapt to from a defensive point of view, I'm pretty much happy, man. Pretty much happy. This game that's coming up against Atalanta in Bergamo, see, I'm really glad that we got these 3 points against Lazio, because going to Bergamo is probably one of your toughest trips of the season. And if we could come out of there, Christian, with 3 points, we're rolling, G. We are absolutely rolling. I can see why you sort of have 80% of your eyes on Atalanta, because if our boys can come out of Bergamo with 3 points, good luck slowing that Scudetto train down after that. I remember distinctively, Christian, before I go over to you, when we're thinking about big fixtures last season that counted more than anything, I look at the reaction from our players to see after the result, like as soon as the result finished, did they know where it was going? When we beat Atalanta 1-0 last season after that Skriniar goal, the way that the boys reacted to that full-time whistle, it was like they were saying, this was one of, if not our hardest game left. Now we go on from here. I feel like it could be something similar, Christian. Even though we've still got a fair few games to go left, I can see why you think you come out of Bergamo with 3 points. It's huge.
Dude, I just think that's going to be it. We beat them. We beat Milan. It's over.
Yeah. It's gonna
It's
be
just,
tough, bro.
again, the depth. Like I've been telling you since match day one. That's the reason we're going to win the Scudetto. You're going to see we're going to win that one. We're going to beat Milan and pay back. Once we beat them, that's it. Game done. Game over.
Yeah. What about you, Mario, man? You think we're going to Atalanta to get 3 points in Bergamo as well?
Yeah, I think Atalanta are a beatable team. They show glimpses of why they're, constantly shown or portrayed as a top three contender. They scored what 6 goals this weekend or something like that, something crazy. So like they're capable of putting up the points and scoring, but I think that this Inter team is just too dominant right now, the way we're playing, and too disciplined to give Atalanta any kind of time of day to potentially beat us like that or embarrass us at the very least. So I think we'll have the edge on them.
Yeah, cool. I've just scrolled down and someone else is waiting in the room. I just saw him. Hello, Bruno. How's it going, mate? Wait, turn to the side. Oh, you could use a haircut as well, bro.
Oh, I got one coming too.
I've been waiting for a haircut, and then when you have
They're
a booked
serious.
in, you end up catching COVID, so you can't go anywhere, and it's just all over the place. But mate, just on Atalanta, our last 6 fixtures since 2020, we've drawn the first one and then won the second one. So if this is anything to go by, we've drawn the first one. Let's take 3 points, and I think these boys are in nice shape to take 3 points. Like when we did the Champions League draw, I thought we're gonna get hit out of the park against Liverpool, but I also think we've got a good chance against them too now.
Yeah, fair call, man. Fair call. I think that you got to go into these matches over the next couple of days knowing that if you come out of them with a Supercoppa and 3 points against Atalanta, nobody else has that form. Absolutely nobody else in Italy has that momentum. I mean, Milan are coasting well game to game, but every single game for them is a war zone. It's a struggle to get those 3 points. Whereas for us, we're sort of going into these games knowing that 3 points is obligatory unless something goes wrong on the pitch. Would you agree, Bruno?
Yeah, no, definitely. And this is you've got the Supercoppa, which is Allegri's Cup. This is he's the one that's provided the most competition to Juventus in most recent years, and when he's come up against them, he's taken the win. So Inzaghi can get the 3 points there. I think he's got the strategy. We saw against Roma, Juventus just struggled. They just struggled, and they relied on a complete collapse on Roma's behalf to get 3 points there. But come Atalanta, I just think Inzaghi's got all the answers at the moment. Any question that gets asked, he's there. He provides the answer. And we've got a good team, like almost fully fit team with Dzeko now coming back into the starting lineup, I would assume.
Are you scared of anybody in this Juventus team, Christian? Like the mentioned Dybala?
No. It would have been Chiesa, but
yeah.
Oh, McKennie. I like McKennie.
Yeah, did you hear?
I'm not scared of him. I just like him.
I think Tottenham just recently came out and said that they might want to sniff around for him, but the rumor was that they were going to offer Ndombele, and Juventus just said a flat out no because Ndombele is trash. But I would agree, McKennie's a sort of a nice spark. I think with Artur and Locatelli playing together, they showed a better midfield on the weekend against Roma than we're used to. However, that Roma midfield, besides Pellegrini, also wasn't looking very strong. And I just think that Juventus are going to get a smack in the face. So, Bruno, you want to tell us a little bit more about your more thorough prediction, seeing as though you came in late?
Look, I think Juventus would. They're basically going to be struggling without Chiesa. That is one of the biggest losses for them. He's been, if not the most consistent player in their team. Morata had a stunning game, and if they can follow that. But you see a lot of times when these teams lose one of their key players, they step it up the following couple of fixtures because they're there. They're doing it for that player. We saw how Italy were in the Euros. Denmark in the Euros when they lost Eriksen, they stepped it up. They played their heart out, etc. So that's probably the only thing that I'm worried about. But just I really think that it wouldn't be too unrealistic to say 2-0, 3-0, just because Inter at the moment they've just shown their grinta. They've got their heart, their soul. That last 10 minutes against Lazio, under any other context, I would be shitting myself to say, to put it nicely, waiting for that equalizer to come, waiting to drop those points, but they just look so cool, calm and collected, Skriniar, De Vrij, Bastoni, who's responsible, Handanovic, who was responsible for that goal against Lazio, but you don't ask those questions because they learnt from it, they didn't let it rattle them, and that just shows the maturity of this team at the moment. So I really do see Inter running away with it. But just on Tottenham, they've also rumours coming out saying they're after Sensi on a loan deal till the end of the season.
Wow, there you go. You're telling me Conte's going to try and rotate Sensi in the Premier League, bro. That guy will be injured before he steps into the stadium in England. No way. If he can't take the heat, if he can't take the heat in Serie A, he is going to get knocked around like a bag of chips in the Premier League, man. No way. But I'll believe that when I see it, man. Mario,
you guys are so negative.
What do you mean, bro? Why? About who?
Because you should want him to go over there and do well so they buy him.
So it would be a loan with an option that he would have to ball out of his skin for them to redeem. No.
You got to remember,
I don't watch much Spurs, so I don't know what sort of creative
left us and actually went and performed good over there.
Yeah, I can't
look at Coutinho. Coutinho was always hurt with us that one season. We saw him in Liverpool. He became a stud.
Kovacic over there is doing well for Chelsea now, albeit he went through Madrid first. But
yeah, but he sucked at Madrid and sucked for us too.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think we just need to relatively stay injury free, boys. We stay injury free. I don't know how teams are going to be able to get at us more often than not. But I do like this comment here. Musti says, I think we're taking this match a little lightly. After all, it's still a rivalry match against Juve. They won't lay down. You never know. This Juve team could be in the dressing room before the game going, this might be our only chance this season to put one over these guys. So let's make sure that we do it. However, by doing that, as Christian pretty much alluded to, they risk going hell for leather for a 90 or 120 minutes for a Supercoppa and then derailing their top four aspirations as well. So I think...
Don't forget, they drew Udinese at the beginning of the year, 2-2.
They play at home on the weekend this weekend or away to Udinese? No, they'll be at home because they've got the points in Rome, I believe. Yeah, so they'll be home this weekend against Udinese. Look, overall, I think we'll bring it up. I think we'll be able to win. I think we'll be able to get it over the line. And I just think this is the sort of tangible objective that we need for our boys to go through and continue. Miliano says we are the best team in Italy. All the rest have to give 100% to keep up with us. I agree. This would be fantastic. Zed says Juve won't score 2-0 to Inter. I'd love nothing more than a clean sheet in this one, man. Love nothing more than a clean sheet. Yeah, Bruno with a little bit more optimism here. I don't think that was a serious comment, but hey, man, never say never. Guys, that's pretty much all we're going to talk about here on Inter Worldwide today. Unless I've missed something, I'm just going to scroll through the rest of the comments. But Bruno, anything else in the news or the headlines that I haven't really covered?
Nothing at the moment. Just COVID wreaking havoc. The league, the Bologna fixture may actually be a forfeit on Bologna's behalf. I'm not sure if you boys touched it. Rather than remaining in quarantine, Bologna actually submitted a team sheet where they shouldn't have, because by submitting the team sheet, it announces that they are ready to play, and they submitted it an hour pre-game. So that's why you saw the Inter players on the pitch warming up, etc. Whereas if you look in the past, I think it was Lazio and Torino and Napoli, they never submitted the team sheet. They never included anything because there was never any intention to play. So that's what is happening on that end. So that's going to be in the news a fair bit in the coming weeks, I'd say.
The longer this goes without an official decision, because the official decision to postpone the game should be bread and butter. The longer this goes without a postponement, the more I'm inclined to believe you, and that Bologna might actually be looking at their fixture list and congestion, saying, well, I can't think of anything worse than playing Inter at some point at the end of February, March, or April, because we've still got games that we need to win either side of that. I want to get the other boys' opinions on that before we head off. Christian, you first. The Bologna fixture. You reckon we're going to end up playing it, or you reckon they might actually take a forfeit?
So I think we should play it. Do I think the league's gonna play it? No, because again, the congestion in the list, in the fixture list, also the fact that they came out with that rule right in time for the game. It was kind of like one of those things like, you guys got to start playing this stuff. This is starting to get ridiculous.
Yeah. They can't just keep postponing it, man, because at the end of the day, they can't. We're going to have cup football to play. Bologna's going to want to have to play their winnable fixtures as well. Mario, what are you saying about this all?
Now that I found out Bologna have officially submitted a team sheet, it makes me think that they are going to forfeit the game as they intended to play. And kind of weird situation, if you ask me. So I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it seems like they don't have their shit together, and
I said I'll watch it. Just leave it there.
Like, honestly, man, for me personally, I don't think they can't keep just coming back and putting a team sheet together too late on. In like, when you put a team sheet out, you're basically saying that you are ready to take the pitch with your youth players. And I'm pretty sure Mihailovic actually came out as well and said just before kickoff, we're willing to play. He said something along those lines, we're willing to play. So all signs point to the fact that Inter might actually be awarded this. But like Christian was saying, we sort of need to play it because, I mean, I personally wouldn't care, but you're just giving everybody a reason to say that the Campionato is false and that Inter have been given special privilege in one way, shape, or form, either or. And I don't really want a bar of that, even though it would be nice to make sure that we run away with the league to the point where this game doesn't count. I think it's important to make every game count legitimately. A couple more comments here. Zed says, gentlemen, it's 4 a.m. my time. That's all right. Thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate it. Musti says, Hakan got suspended for no reason. Not really. Now that he's served his suspension against Lazio, if we get the forfeit for Bologna, fantastic. If we don't, guess who's eligible to play against Bologna? Hakan. He's served his suspension against Lazio. The match against Bologna now becomes a later fixture in which Hakan will start the game. So Hakan will not be suspended twice because even if Bologna forfeits the reverse game, we will probably still need to put a lineup out before they forfeit, in which Hakan will probably be on the starting team sheet to begin with anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I really hope we get this trophy, boys, because I think it's going to be that sort of momentum pusher that gets Inter through to the rest of the season and carries us on to the Scudetto. So thank you very much to these three gentlemen for joining me. Bruno, you first. Thanks again, and we'll catch up soon.
Definitely. See you on the flip side.
Absolutely. Mario, you take good care of yourself in NYC. We'll hear from you soon.
Bye-bye.
And Christian, always from DC, thank you for coming around, man. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Guys, from all of us here at Inter Worldwide, Forza Inter.
Hey, can I make one quick comment?
Yeah, of course you can, bro. This is your
how do
floor.
I get an accent like yours?
How do you get what?
An accent like yours. Like, I got a shitty DC accent. You got like a sophisticated Australian accent.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Oi. That sounds nice.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
It sounds all the same to us here in Australia, man. So whenever you come out and give our accent the big ups, I just think it's bizarre. It's bizarre, man, because I find it to be absolutely effing atrocious every time I go out of my house. But
look,
yeah.
Mario got to tell Mario to say coffee. He's gonna say coffee. What's it? Coffee. Say coffee.
Coffee. It's coffee.
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 That's more New Jersey, isn't it?
It's coffee.
You can't say coffee right without trying. You just sit there and say, let me go get some coffee.
Let me get some
catch
coffee.
the L.
Nah, it's a coffee.
It's coffee. Coffee.
Let me get a coffee.
Funny dudes. Speaking of coffee, I'm going to go make a green tea. Thanks for everyone for watching.
Green
Ciao.
tea.